Hello guys, it's Teenage DC Fan back with another video, and in today's video I will be reviewing the latest episode of Gotham, titled I Am Bane. So this episode is the official debut of Bane. We met Eduardo Durance before, and he is the one that ends up becoming Bane, but he didn't become Bane until this episode. So anyway, we start off this episode finding out that the government is coming with like reinforcements and stuff, and they're like going to basically help rebuild Gotham to what it was before the bridges blew. And so then the government's there, and there's like the military leader dude, and they're meeting outside the GCPD with Jim Gordon, Harvey Bullock, and Bruce Wayne. And then Jim gets a call that Barbara's going into labor and he needs to get to the hospital. And then they find out that the water is all good, it's all healthy, they can start the reconstruction process or whatever. But then a bunch of smoke bombs are thrown in, so nobody can see. And they're like, get in, get in. And then this huge like trailer truck drives through. And then obviously a bunch of people are shot and killed. Just a normal episode of Gotham, pretty much every episode of Gotham, somebody's gotta die, even if it's not, like, an actual character. Anyway, so then Bane hops out the back. Oh, wait, actually, this reminds me of a part that I, actually skipped. So, like, before this, you see, Eduardo in, Hugo Strange's lab, and they're giving him the venom and basically transforming him from this to this. And obviously, like, they gave him the super strength and stuff, so that, like, gave him, well, made him be able to, like, crush people's skulls, with his hand, so that's pretty cool. And then obviously you see them running away, but then the Army General, Bruce Wayne, and, Jim are all shot with tranquilizer darts, so then they're taken to some abandoned mansion. The general is put in the basement, which is also Hugo Strange's lab, I think. And then Jim and Bruce are up on the next floor, or like somewhere else above that in the building. And Bane's there, and then Walker walks in, and then she orders Bane to beat up Jim until Bruce figures out that is Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Nissa al Ghul. So obviously she wants revenge, since Bruce killed her father, and yeah. So then Bane keeps beating up Jim. Then he takes Jim to the lab, Hugo Strange's lab, to where the general was, and then Bruce just keeps talking to Nissa. Then she leaves. Then eventually he moves over to a candle, so then the rope that he's tied to the chair with burns, so then he escapes. Meanwhile, Hugo Strange is trying to turn Jim basically into another Bane, and like once Jim gets like the super strong powers, he like just breaks out of there and like makes Hugo Strange run away, and then he sets off an alarm, and then he gets to the general and checks to see if he inserted one of those like chips that would like mind control him, like they did with Riddler, Edward Nigma, and he doesn't see one. So then they go they meet up with Bruce, and then they go to wherever the military are currently like stationed or whatever, and Harvey's there, and they're like, oh, it's all good and stuff, but then it turns out that Hugo Strange did put the chip in the general, and that it was just hidden, so they didn't know about it. But so basically, the general was kind of evil, and he ordered the helicopters or planes to come blow up Gotham City because it's a lost cause and stuff like that. And then he tells the um, military people that are there with them to arrest the our heroes of the story. And then they get outside and they just take out the guards, and um, then they go. Actually, I don't think they go anywhere. They kind of just stay there because that's when they see that the helicopters are there, and then they just start bombing Gotham. But then on to the other storyline of the episode that's going on at the same time. So before the bombing, um, so Ed Ed Oswald and Barbara were getting ready to leave because the submarine was ready, but then all of a sudden Barbara went into labor, so then she had to go to the hospital, and then Ed and Oswald were going to leave without her, but then they realized that she stole one of the parts that they needed because she knew that they would try to double cross her. So then she was at the hospital with Lee, trying to have the baby, and then at the same time, Bane was sent to the hospital to get Barbara because Barbara also had a hand in killing Raish. Um, so Nissa wants revenge on her too. So and then Bane shows up at the hospital. He goes over the intercom thing and basically explains that he's there for Barbara, and then they start to go. Then Ed and Oswald volunteer to stay back and hold him off. So then they decide to shoot a rocket at him while Barbara and Lee are like leaving the building, and they shoot the rocket at him, and it explodes and kills um all the people that were with Bane. But then Bane just walks right out of the fire, like his arm's on fire, but then he just puts it out. So like he's like bulletproof and like bomb proof, I guess you could say. And so then he just starts walking forward and he sees the two. So then they start to run, and then um uh where was I? Oh yes. So then Lee and Barbara end up outside. Um they Barbara has the baby, but then Bane shows up. And then all of a sudden, you see headlights, and then a car crashes into Bane and knocks him out. And it's Alfred and Selina because they got a distress call from Bruce when he was in the mansion, just get like right after he escaped. Um, and so they're there, and then they get in the car, and then they drive off because Selina and Alfred are gonna stay there to hold off Bane. So then Bane hits Selina once, and then she's just out. And then Alfred's holding his own against Bane until Bane starts hitting, and then almost pretty much knocks out Alfred, and then throws him into a pole, and probably breaks his back because there's the most famous storyline with Bane from the comics is when Bane breaks the bat, and that's when Bane breaks Batman's back. And since Bruce isn't Batman yet, they decided to do the same storyline but with Alfred. Although he looked pretty dead, so I'm not sure if he's actually like alive. I mean, like obviously you would think that he's alive because he needs to be alive for Batman and stuff. But it honestly wouldn't surprise me if they killed him off, because it's like one of the last few episodes, and like Gotham is its own thing. Like they take inspiration from the comics and stuff, but they don't do like exactly what they did in the comics. So honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he was actually dead, but I hope not, because he's such an awesome character, even though he hasn't been doing much in the season. But then you see that Barbara and uh, Lee go to the Sirens Club, and when they get there, um, everybody's dead. There's just a bunch of dead bodies all around, and then you see Nissa Al Ghul walk out from behind the corner, and she killed all those people. She slaps Lee and maybe knocks her out, and then she basically explains her plan and who she is and stuff like that to Barbara, and then I'm pretty sure that is the end of the episode. So this was a pretty good episode. I like the way that they're that yeah, sorry about that. I like the way that they're doing Bane's origin here. It's definitely different from the comics. I actually ended up reading the comic book that had Bane's origin like right before I watched this episode, because I don't usually read comic books, but I read this one just to so I could like compare it. It's very different, but it's still an interesting take on the character. And 2 more episodes left of Gotham. Although you could kind of say that it's only one, because the last episode is the 10-year time jump, so it's kind of like its own thing basically. So, and then the worst part is that we have to wait 4 weeks for the next episode. That's a month. Like, I get that they want to like drag this out to make it seem like the series is lasting longer, but just get it over with. I mean, I love this show, but especially ending with a cliffhanger like that, with like the helicopters starting to bomb the city. I mean, I don't want to wait 4 weeks to find out what happens next. Yeah, so yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my next review of Gotham 4 weeks from now. I'll have my Supergirl review up like probably Monday night. It might end up being Tuesday night. It depends on how tired I am Monday night, if I'm like have enough energy to film it Monday night. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video so I can bestow all my DC knowledge upon you.